fun.
Oh, I like this one. There's two questions in this, but I really, really like this one.
Okay.
How much was your social life affected by your budgeting? I know who asked this one, and
that's a fantastic question.
Yes, because this is the one that everybody's scared about when it's keeping up with your friends.
You know what? Here's the thing. Like, if you know you meal prepped, or I don't know if you're into that, or if you have food at home, you can still go out with your friends. Just don't. I don't drink alcohol either. I should have mentioned that. I cut alcohol because it really doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, I don't make any money off this guy. No coffee, no alcohol. Occasionally he has a cigar. He's like my worst friend ever.
Yeah, no coffee, or I do drink coffee, but no alcohol. And yeah, if you're just at a restaurant, just get an appetizer. Like, do you really need to eat a full $40 meal every time you go out to hang out with your friends? You don't have to. They're not applying pressure like that. In fact, I actually took it and I ended up investing in a gym membership that I use now with my closest friends. We actually all go. It's not a normal gym. It's a rock climbing gym, but a lot of my really good friends rock climb, and that's now my social activity. I go and do that. I get to hang out with my friends. It's great for your physique. Amazingly, very difficult sport. And
I don't rock climb. Clearly,
it's a little challenging, but yeah, like at the end of the day, it's just about who is your network. If your network's also trying to get ahead with you, they're not going to. They shouldn't be pressuring you to go spend money on dumb shit and waste your money on stupid things and go out to flex or look cool or any of that. If you're with,
it is the literal climb that your friends are helping you.
Literally.
Your circle dictates everything about your life. I do not care what anybody says. It doesn't make anyone better than anyone else, but if you surround yourself with people who are motivated, whether it's to be healthier, to have a better family life, to be more financially stable, that's what you're going to become, because that's the only thing on your mind. This isn't rehearsed. He's not repeating stuff that we say, but are you noticing something about people that get ahead earlier than the people typically at their age? What do they all say? I hang out with the right people. It doesn't mean that they're all robots and all think the same. But you know what? If you're all involved in a physical activity, you're training your body and your mind while not consuming, I know this is not a good example, but this isn't my day. This isn't what I do all day. You know what I do all day, and it's a little more than most people do. But he just hit it right on the head. My circle changed into people that go rock climbing and talk about investing and bettering their lives.
Absolutely.
You can't nail that one any better.
And actually, I should say too, I have two friends, actually two people in my entire network that are younger than me. And there's probably another 20 that are all older than me. I talk to probably on a weekly basis. Everyone's older. I don't talk to anybody younger. Most of my friends are in their 30s.
And what do you think that is? It's not because you think that people your age are stupid.
No. Some of them just haven't figured it out yet, and that's fine. But you can only hold someone's hand so long, or hang out with that kind of mindset for so long until it's just too much. So I'd rather just hang out with people that they're already thinking the same way. They're usually in their 30s, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, because they've ripped through their 20s. Everybody else is saying, "Oh, let's go get messed up this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's get as loud as the people at the next table and get belligerent." See, I can enjoy a drink, one drink, for 20 minutes or half hour. It's not because I can't afford a second drink. I'm sure you understand that by now. But I don't need to feel good based off of how many of these I drink. So I can have one of these for $15 and save the other 80 or 100 that they're spending, and we're building up here.
Yeah,
because I learn just as much from someone 15 years younger than me as he's learning from us, because now I get to understand how the world thinks. I have a whole new marketing demographic. When we sit down and I listen to how his age group thinks, I've got all these products that I need to sell to a younger generation. I can learn. This conversation isn't one way, so I'm not going to turn it into that, but just know that sitting down with the right groups is going to make your mind, it's going to, again, instead of if it's going off this way about gossip and bullshit and getting messed up and which girls you're going to smash and how much it would cost as a car payment to get a car that's hopefully going to help you get messed up and smash more girls, and you see how it keeps, but then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to bed early because I got to go to work tomorrow. When I'm done that, I'm not going to go get messed up either. I'm going to go sit down with a group of people. We can still have that drink or have a few things to eat, but we're going to talk about investments, bettering our lives, that kind of stuff. So I know I'm just droning on, but the whole point is it's all about what you're exposed to. If you sit there and read negative shit on social media and keep liking, oh yeah, men ain't shit, women ain't shit, oh the government ain't shit, everybody, nothing shit, you're all just sitting there getting mad, what have you done at the end of the day except worked up the wrong energy in your body? You know what the best sleep you get is? After a day of being successful. I don't care what anybody says. You climb an extra foot on that wall, or you went to the next level up, or you hit your first 100K a year, or whatever. Man, you do not sleep any better than that, because then you wake up the next day and you're like, 250. I'm going after 250. I'm going after the high black diamond walls and ski trails and stuff like that. Success breeds success.
Absolutely.
Ignorance and anger breeds ignorance and anger.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like honestly, the reason I like climbing so much, and if any of you want to get into climbing, hit me a message or text me, whatever. I would be more than happy to get you guys involved in it. But it's such a cool sport because you pretty much know immediately where you are on the totem pole, and it takes a very long time to get better at it. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how coordinated you are, how balanced you are. It's actually a mix of all that, and the only way you can get better is investing time in it. So it's a very good sport to pair with business, because business is almost the exact same.
Discipline.
It's discipline, and then getting the mileage, and they call it in climbing, getting the mileage and getting the time in doing it. And the more repetition and practice, the better you get. There is no cheat. You can't go and
hack.
No, you literally can't just do a hard wall on your first day. It doesn't matter if you ran an Ironman or done a crazy marathon. You're not going to get it. Which is why I respect it so much. Sports like that are fun.
And there's no participation awards. The
Absolutely.
award is doing better this time than last time.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna leave that on that before I get in trouble with what I think of people who don't challenge themselves.
That's a huge part of that sport too. Is it's all about you have to push yourself. You have to excel.
Oh yeah, and the best thing is when you do it in a group, even if you're having a slack ass day, you don't want to be the worst person on the wall. If you're the smartest person at a table, you're at the wrong table. But you know what the best thing to be? The weakest person at a table. Because nothing's going to make you want to feel not like the weakest person, like succeeding.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
And to finish that one off, when he said, how was your social life affected by your better budgeting? The second question was, can you cook?
No, I can't. I'm terrible at cooking. I actually am very blessed that I have a girlfriend that is an amazing.
Sorry, he has a girlfriend. I realize he's on his way to heavy success. He's stand up. How tall are you?
Like 6'4".
6'4". That's right, ladies. Yeah. So he's already out of the camera. I could stand up and show you what 5'9" looks like. It's not very impressive. Yeah. You can't cook.
I can't cook.
You found your better half.
Absolutely.
And this person can fill in the voids.
Fantastic.
All right. So. How did you two? It basically says, how did you meet? But I guess you can elaborate on it. Like, how did you come to meet our group of people?
Absolutely. So I was on YouTube one night, and I had a recommendation come up for a video. And there happened to be a car in it that I recognized because I know a lot of the high-end cars in the Edmonton car community. And I saw this gentleman's car, and I thought, I'll watch that video because I'd be interested to see him talking about his personal life, not just his car. And you're good. Perfect. Thank you. And sure enough,
what's that? Oh, margarita's great. I'll be good with this one. Awesome. Thank you.
And yeah, sure enough, I watched the video through, and I saw Chris hanging out with people that I knew. So it made me feel a lot more comfortable. But then at the end, because I watched the video all the way to the end, which most people can't do because they don't have an attention span, I saw Chris make a comment regarding if you're interested in learning more, just shoot us a message in the comments below. And I scrolled down, there's no comments. So I just said, hey, how do I get in touch with you guys? They sent me an I immediately sent him a message on there, just started kind of initiating a conversation, and then he offered to meet me for the first time in August, actually right here at Hugh. So, I mean, I always just, if someone's going to offer to help you or is willing to answer questions, why wouldn't you take them up on that? Especially since, you know, he's sitting in a multi-million-dollar house and he's with some people I already know in the car scene. Why not, right?
Did I try and sell you anything?
No.
So where would you say that, other than having the knowledge of people that knew me and I knew, because I know people will be like, well, if this person is completely a stranger, unknown circles, how you were lucky enough you were in the same city.
Yeah.
How would you advise people to, one, be careful about who they're talking to? Because there is a lot of MLM, there's a lot of crypto scams out there and stuff like that. Just so people don't jump in, what questions do you think they should ask themselves before reaching out to someone who they may want advice from?
It's a good question. I think at the end of the day, if you can do research on the person, try to. If you can't, I've got a pretty good BS detector, I would say, and it also obviously really helped me because I knew the guy that he was with was like the real deal and wasn't sketchy at all. So that immediately broke the ice for me, dropped my guard. I was very comfortable. But if you don't know,
that was Neil, right?
He was Neil. Yeah. He was Neil.
We were over at we were shooting one of the earlier investment videos. We were at Neil's place.
Yeah, and Neil doesn't know me personally, but I know his car very well. So that's how I knew him, and no college between. But yeah, you know what? You start to realize, especially the high-end car owners, some of them are faking it. A lot of them aren't, especially with older stuff. So if I was using my detective skills to figure out if Neil was legitimate, I would know that he was driving a 2010 or 2011 Gallardo Super Trofeo, which you can't finance anymore. So the fact that you see these people that are in a brand new 720S, well, they can have really good credit and just have 25 grand to put down, and you can drive that car all day long. You don't have to have a lot of money at all to have these cars.
He's right.
It's the old cars. You see guys driving old cars. That's how you know that they are typically well-to-do, because they either own it outright, or they've been able to
invest in,
or they've made the payments long enough that that they actually have that income. They're not just driving it for 3 weeks and they're blowing all their savings for the last 2 years. But it's also like word track. People who are of lower value will try and talk to you a lot because they have a lot of time, and people that do not have a lot of time usually speak very directly and are very specific with their word choice because they need to convey a message extremely clearly, and sometimes people don't even type. He's actually the first one I've ever met to just always send a voice memo, which I've actually started doing now because it's all I think.
I am terrible at texting. It takes too much time, and what have I told everyone? Value your time. So I'd rather just hold a button, talk into it, because then you know exactly what tone I have.
Yeah.
Whether I'm being serious, joking, whatever it is, you can tell what message I'm getting across. And I'm not saying reach out and message me. This is how do you tell if someone is legitimate?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things, and I'll add this, is if they're too polished.
Yeah.
Like a car salesman, like they stood in front of a mirror, got their hair all greasy, and delivered a line. That is the easiest way to tell if someone's told that story way too many times. And the only reason you need to tell a story way too many times is if you're trying to convince someone of something.
That's very true.
We never convince people of anything. If you ask a question, I answer it. I'll go into as much detail as you ask for. But I'm never going to be like, what do you think? Do you want to be part of this? There are very, very easy ways. And that is probably, anyone who's successful has either probably been swindled at some point or has seen it happen many, many times, and they'll always tell you. Anyone that sounds like a used car salesman probably doesn't have your best interest in mind.
Very true. Yeah. I don't want to drag that one on too long, but it's very simple. I think the more people you talk to, I'm very lucky because I did sales. When I started doing sales, I did door-to-door B2B sales. you meet like at least 20, 30 people a day for a year, you start to realize like when people are lying or when they're not who they, they're not the person that they embody or they're trying to put on a show. It's very clear the more people you talk to. But that's another issue, with COVID and everything. Just a lot of people have lost the ability to talk to others and have social skills. So, and I personally believe EQ is more important than IQ. But yeah.
I know a ton of university professors that, compared to an average income, look smart and look like they make a lot of money. Those people don't even stack up anywhere near an investor's dividends.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with people that are scholastic, who are well read, but I find they'll hold that over you as like a self-righteousness more than a wealthy person will ever judge you for not being wealthy. You know how many times I've been excluded from a conversation, usually ones that I don't even want to be in, because they start talking about what books they've read, or have you read this book on finances and stuff like that, because they're always trying to place themselves on a ladder above you. They're always going to find something that they have that you don't. And I'm like, oh, congratulations, you've read books on finances, eh? Well, it's Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm on a beach. So please tell me everything you know about finances and all that kind of shit. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I do mean it egotistically, because I do believe in the way I've done things. But it doesn't mean I couldn't do better. That's the first thing that I tell people. Value your time. Don't ever think your way is the only way. Because the more ways you absorb, and yes, it could be reading, but you know what? Real life's mentors are huge. I was doing very well in my 20s, but my ego got in the way where I wouldn't listen to people. Finally, in my late 20s, 5 years after he is currently, I finally listened to people because I realized there was a huge gap between, again, being king shit at my table and joining the world of investing and wealth mindset. This isn't a book you read. This is experience based off of the knowledge of right and wrong in the world of investing in business. I use the word investing. It's also an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur invests in themselves. It's not just investing, you gotta buy a stock, you gotta buy a house. Investing in yourself is one of the biggest things you can do. So that concludes the questions that other people had.
Those are good ones, yeah.
I'm actually very surprised, because usually we get weird stuff like, where do you put your money? Which is a cheap way of asking, where should I put mine, without saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, which is okay, but just come out and ask the question you want to know about. So where do you put your money? I'm interested in seeing someone your age. Where do you find, please listen if you're under 35, where do you find, based on your knowledge and your age group and how you perceive the world, where do you find the best opportunities of investing? And that's a broad term. What you consider an investment, what would you say are the best in your world currently that you know of? Yeah, I'm not judging it. I want to know your mindset of how you look at the world right now.
Yeah, that's fair. So from my 24-year-old eyes, I would say that the biggest thing I hear on the social media landscape is for sure property and crypto. How much of that is accurate? That's personally not something I invest a lot of time in researching, because to me, sales skills and the ability to interact with others is more valuable than this knowledge right now, because that's just what I'm investing my time in. But personally, because I'm a huge car guy, and I've been watching the market since like 2019, 2018.
When I got out.
Pretty much everything across the board. The stuff that I always thought would do really well is doing better than really well. And I'm not talking like my RS7, I'm talking like collectible Ferraris, Lamborghinis, stuff like that, that has, some cars have gone up 3, 4, 5 times in value in 2 years. Which personally, that is where I have my most interest in, because I know I can make good decisions. everything else, I know I don't have enough knowledge to make good decisions, because I've known about cars and known a lot about cars for probably 14 years at least, and I still don't think I know a ton. Like I said,
that's the best attitude to take on anything. I can learn more.
Yeah, I can always learn more, but I know a lot about that, and there's decisions I know I could make if I had a lot of money that would do really well. There's also decisions I know would be somewhat risky. And I'm not at the point where I could look at a property or a cryptocurrency or an NFT or whatever you want to call it and have that same gut feeling. And I don't know how to explain that, but like, and I guess guitars too. I used to be really big into guitars, and I know that there's collectible instruments that are worth a lot of money, and there's certain pieces there that I would be comfortable putting my money into, knowing that I would at least get it back, if not double it. But yeah, there's not a lot of I guess assets or things that I know about that I would be that confident buying. So
it's amazing he brings up the cars, because I got out of that game just because I didn't want to be in the car scene anymore. But one of the things that we've really, I'm going to use the word bonded over, was the fact that we seem to like the exact same cars. Like within like 75%, if we both built a dream garage, not just for investing. It's so weird how they've lined up, because most people don't. Not everybody can like the same stuff, so it's really weird when you find someone, again, a decade and a half apart, who likes the same cars, especially the ones that were built before he was even born.
Yeah. I think it's just knowing like what kind of a person you are, and I mean, a lot of people like cars because they're really flashy, and I knew a guy who owned a Lamborghini, and he literally told me to my face that the reason he liked it is because he could open that door at Cactus Club and get out. And yeah, I guess, sure, that's great. I mean, if that's what, cranks your gears or whatever you want to call it, or toots your horn, fantastic.
But that's an investment for him, because he wasn't looking for a monetary gain. He was looking for a sexual one.
That's right. But for me, I'd rather be behind a F40 go-kart or a McLaren F1 or something that's just absolutely crazy to listen to, and it's just a raw experience, which I think the really diehard car guys will appreciate forever, and I don't think those cars will ever lose value because of the qualities they possess that cannot be replicated by today's modern standards. But that's enough cars stuff.
We can do this.